10 years ago, on May 4th, 2010, journalist and student Sardasht Osman was abducted from in front of his college in Erbil. He had received death threats after publishing a series of critical articles and satirical poems about the ruling parties in the Kurdistan region. The government blamed a member of a terrorist group for the murder, but Sardasht's family and press freedom groups have rejected that explanation. On May 6th, 2 days after he disappeared, his body was found dumped in Mosul. NRT spoke to his family this week about the anniversary and what Sardasht's life and death means for the Kurdistan region.
Sardasht will never be forgotten, never ever. I ask God to avenge the violation of all rights.
Before we get to anything else, Sardasht was assassinated at the age of 23. He started studying in primary school at the age of 5. He passed every grade successfully and was a clever student. He was a committed student. As for learning English, he really liked absorbing the language. Even before he was accepted to the English Language and Literature department at Salahuddin University, he was already very familiar with English language and literature and had read many of the great writers and was really quite taken with them. Like I said, he was committed to his studies and was in his final year at the English Literature College when he was assassinated. Generally, he was quiet, obedient, and committed to his college, family, relatives, work, and friends.
How did I wait? I was waiting for his return. I waited until the next day for Sardasht to return, but he didn't return. After that, we got the news that someone in Mosul has been abducted and killed. They all left, his father, his brothers. They went to bring back the body. We died and were resurrected again. It is easy saying it. God is great. I pray to God 6 times every day to avenge our rights, because they committed a massive crime.
From the beginning of his journey in writing and journalism, he was a critic who was dissatisfied with the ruling system in the Kurdistan region, the tribal system in Kurdistan. All of his writing was directed towards the Kurdish authorities, toward the injustice that exists in Kurdish society, toward the tribal system and family rule. All of his writing and responses were against hereditary family rule. He was adamantly against the inequality and injustice of the political system in Kurdistan. If you read his work, Sardasht was the only journalist who never changed lanes or sides, never shifted his belief about the ruling authority, and never showed any tolerance for injustice or unfairness in Kurdistan. He set his mind to the task of doing everything in his power to challenge injustice through his writing. Sardasht was not satisfied with the situation in the Kurdistan region. In his articles, he clearly tells us that it is not acceptable that those close to the ruling parties operate as an elite clique that live the high life, while the majority of the population in the Kurdistan region isn't sure whether they can feed their children tomorrow morning. The situation in the Kurdistan region right now shares the same qualities that Sardasht was writing about 10 years ago. People are not certain where their next meal is coming from. You see elderly people who cannot buy medicine. Sardasht was writing about this 10 years ago. He was screaming that the situation cannot continue like this, with the country being run by a tribal authority. What motivated Sardasht to act was the injustice that the ruling parties have unlimited resources and wealth in their hands, but only use it to enrich their own families, while dooming the rest of the people to their fate. 4 months before Sardasht was murdered, he published an article entitled My Death Knell Rings, which let us all know that he had been threatened because of his writings and opinions, but that he was never going to give up to the authority or any part of them. He was unconcerned and showed extraordinary courage about the situation, saying that he did not care what they might do to him, because what was important to him was that he carried the burden of the nation, the youth, children, and society. So he was unconcerned insofar as he told them that they could do whatever they wanted to him. At the time of his abduction, he had been warned that they would kill him if he did not stop writing for a period of time, and publish an article expressing regret about his past writings. But Sardasht believed that the period had ended and told his murderers that he was waiting for them. His courage in the face of all the threats against him was astounding. He never gave up. The passing of time has only strengthened our hatred and anger toward the power that hid Sardasht's murderers and protected them, and tried to invent fake murderers to hide the real ones in front of our eyes and the eyes of the people of the Kurdistan region. We repeat the demands that we have made ever since he was murdered. Those who killed Sardasht, and those who were behind it, those who planned it, and those who held the trial must all be exposed and be tried in front of the court. Sardasht was abducted in front of the eyes of thousands of people, hundreds of students, tens of Zeravani and security forces, in front of his university in broad daylight, and passed through dozens of checkpoints and under the watch of CCTV cameras. The security forces, the Attorney General, and the judiciary showed total ineptitude in Sardasht's case, because they could have named and brought his murderers to trial on the basis of ample evidence, but they didn't. The case is more critical now than ever, especially for us, for journalists, the media, and activists. It will remain open until an independent court is established in Kurdistan, and we know who the real killers and planners are. What Sardasht feared 10 years ago has by and large come to pass, because when a group of brave journalists disappeared, it made the situation worse than before. The system that finances the authority that Sardasht wrote about is still in the hands of powerful families. On the one hand, the families work to exhaust the will of journalists, writers, and critics, and on the other hand, they created huge news agencies to protect their families' power in their plundering of the oil. The economic wealth that Sardasht mentioned in his writings should not be in the hands of a couple governing families in Kurdistan. With Sardasht's murder, they were able to prolong this situation. They monopolized the wealth in Kurdistan to suppress and buy the journalists in the region, and to establish powerful media agencies to preserve their oil-based power. We see that the situation for journalism gets worse every day, and that the courts and judiciary are used to suppress critics and journalists. Unfortunately, the situation is dangerous. We see that the people in power here are doing the same things as dictators in places around the world, like Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein. Over the past 10 years, the people of Kurdistan, journalists, lawyers, and people who desire freedom, have shown us with their acts that Sardasht is their son too. Before May 5th, 2010, he was our son, but now he is your son, the son of the brave journalists, the son of those who still hold true to Sardasht's legacy, to the message of justice and freedom. Sardasht told us to put a period at the end of his story. We promise the people of Kurdistan that we have still not done that. We will continue the message and writings of Sardasht along with the people of Kurdistan. Right now, the Sardasht Freedom Force is strong and numerous all around the world, and consists of thousands of free and brave journalists and a lot of lawyers that work for the rights and freedom of people. Sardasht is now so much more than just the son of a family. Sardasht is the son of all Kurdistan.
سەردەشت کوڕی سەردەم خەڵکی کوردستانە